Sponsored by RxCardClub.com. Get a free prescription drug card and save up to 85% on prescription drugs. RxCardClub.com. Dana White has named his UFC Mount Rushmore. Conor McGregor makes it, with the UFC just days away from entering the seismic Las Vegas venue that is the Sphere for UFC 306. Excitement is rife as this 5-fight main card has the potential to visually and physically be one of the best PPVs in the company's history. Having spent a reported $20 million to make sure this event goes down in history, Dana White is now on a tour of interviews and has been mentioning a few fighters who have gone down in history, as he revealed who he believes is on the UFC's Mount Rushmore, and it's a hard list to contest, although some massive names have been left out. Having been the president of the UFC since 2001, Dana White has seen some of the greatest fighters to ever do it. From the likes of Jose Aldo and Khabib Nurmagomedov, to Demetrious Johnson and Anderson Silva, these greats are just a few of many who missed out on a spot on White's Rushmore list, with the first person on the list being Jon Jones. Jon Jones. Jones is the current UFC heavyweight champion, and is already in the UFC Hall of Fame. For most MMA fans, Jones is a given to be on this list, having already cemented himself as arguably one of the greatest heavyweights to step foot into an octagon. With a big fight brewing against the interim heavyweight champion, Tom Aspinall, all eyes will be on Jones to reclaim his spot on the throne. Ronda Rousey. Next on Dana White's Mount Rushmore is the only female MMA fighter to make the cut in Ronda Rousey. A fighter that he credits for the reason that women fight in the UFC. She is also a UFC Hall of Famer, and truly paved the way for being the first UFC women's fighter to break into the mainstream, and have an audience of mostly men, who preferred watching male fights, be interested in what she was doing. Georges St-Pierre. Back in the men's division, and Canada's very own Georges St-Pierre, typically known as GSP, makes the list. A fighter who retired with a record of 26-2-0, he was once a middleweight and welterweight champion, which made him a two-division champion, something that isn't common for fighters to do. He is also a man who defeated every opponent he faced, avenging his 2 losses later in his career, as he went on to truly put Canada on the map for the MMA world. Conor McGregor. Last on Dana White's Mount Rushmore, it is none other than the Notorious One, Conor McGregor. A fighter who, at his peak, was a must-watch for not just MMA fans, but for everyone. He enjoyed a stellar career at the top, with his work against Khabib, Jose Aldo, and Nate Diaz being career-defining. Now back on the UFC radar, the Irishman has been long rumored to be returning, something that seems to be becoming less true as the months pass by. But regardless, his run between 2014 and 2018 will be long remembered as being nothing short of sensational. A Mount Rushmore that speaks volumes to the litany of talent that Dana White has had through the doors of the UFC. It is a list that most MMA fans will agree with.